Hi, this is Bobby at Copal TV Repair with an instructional video today. A little late, but better late than never. Those TVs are long out of fashion, but I like them. And I don't think we've made one for this TV. This is for Samsung PN51D530A3FXZA. And the problem that it has is it just clicks on and off when turned on. Click on and then click off. I don't know if you can hear it. It's heard from somewhere here. On and off. And we have also seen the exact same thing happen when it clicks on and off repeatedly. It just clicks on and off and just power cycles forever. Those could be two different symptoms that may be caused by the same failure, just a small difference in how the failure exactly played out. I'm trying to get this out, not very successfully. This is not a TV that we have in the shop, at least as of right now. This is a customer's TV. We don't have a repair service for it, but here's the thing. This is the whole TV. On the back, this is the power supply board that gives all the juice. This is the main board, small as it is. That's the brains. Those two boards are called the Y main and the X main sustain boards. They, together with those switching buffers, this is just a digital memory for every single line of the screen. The buffer board, the two sustain boards together make it possible for the screen to display things. And there's a way to test when the main board is bad. There's a jumper combination here, the 2 and 3, I believe, that can be shorted if this is detached. And then this small board, which is basically just responsible for orchestrating the two sustain boards so that they produce a picture. The picture is being passed by the main board, frame by frame, picture by picture, and all the individual bits are being taken by this, it's called plasma logic board, which just converts it to signals that make it possible so that that picture is being displayed I'm sorry, on the plasma panel. Long story short though, what we're experiencing here, let me turn it on again, is the power board clicking on and off whenever I try to turn the TV on. The power board clicks on and then shortly after that clicks off. And again, I have seen the same thing happening when it just clicks on and off. What actually makes it click on and off is the main board that tells it to turn on. And the main board detects it because of the infrared sensor that is down there. So it comes to the main board tells the power board wake up, and then it waits to see whether it has awakened by getting signals back from other boards to see whether all the voltages are there. And what happens with the main board, not in full details, but what is of interest to us is, as you can see, the power board, what happens with the power, my bad. What happens with the power board is it has this output power connection to the Y main board, and the Y main board has the output power to go all the way to the X main board. Now in some TVs, there is a separate power cable going out of the power supply to the X main board. This is very valid. And on some TVs, even the Y and the X main boards are brought together into the same board, and there are long cables going to with plasmas. That's not so common. All this that I'm talking about is all those Y main boards, power, etc., etc. This is something specific to the plasma TVs. It's not in any way specific for LEDs. What you need to, and what is of interest to us now, is that there's a simple way to test for this particular and many other Samsung TVs from that time frame, and I believe we've said that in our other videos. If any one of those boards is blocking the TV from coming up. Now, because the last one to get power in a chain is that one, in other words, if we disconnect here power from sustain boards, if we do that, we will disconnect at the same time this board, that board, and by extension those board. Well, this is a single one. Many times there are two different buffer boards, but we will also disconnect the buffer board by cutting this cable. No power will get to here, therefore to here, and because of that cable, therefore not to here. So if we start disconnecting that cable and the TV decides to stay on, there will be nothing on the screen, of course, because the power necessary to prime the screen will be disconnected. But even if the TV stays on, which would mean that one of those boards is blocking the TV from staying on now, we wouldn't know which one, because there's three of them. So instead, to get most information out of it, we'll disconnect the one that is standalone, that one. And we will see what will happen if we power on the TV. I don't know if you heard the Samsung chime, but the TV came on and it looks like it's staying on. Yep, the optical output is broken there, and you can see the LED coming on. Let me see if it will. Yeah, it took my turn off command and it turned off. So to me that means we have a problem with that board, because if I plug it back in, now it may sparkle very little here. No, it didn't. Sometimes it does, depending on the situation. And if I try to do the same, turn on and right back off, the TV doesn't want to come on. And what this means in many TVs, not with all of them, because there are different ways and different levels of protection in different TVs. So unfortunately, there is no one simple rule that I can tell this is how you test it. And there's a guy, there's many guys, but there's one guy in Tampico, Florida, something, that makes videos about how to troubleshoot and how to fix TV not coming up. And this always makes me laugh because, and feel sorry for the people who watch it, because it's so misleading to tell this is how you fix a TV that doesn't work. There's so many different designs and ways that something can go bad, and engineering solutions to how something works and how to approach something. Troubleshooting, how to approach troubleshooting something, because it was designed differently. There's no way you can make a video unless, of course, you're just hungry for hits and clicks, because you're advertising to laymen how to fix something. It just doesn't work that way, guys. I'm sorry. I really wish I could give you a very comprehensive and full coverage instruction of how to repair a plasma TV. It is possible. It will be extremely boring because it will be very, very conditional at every step, depending on a designer, on this or that. Now, back to our particular thing. What we want to do is we want to take that board out. We'll make two steps for you. The easiest way to take the board out will be to use both your hands, push nicely, slightly down. I do it with one hand because I'm experienced and lucky. But, use both your, either like me, both fingers, press nicely down after pulling the tab, and just shake it a little bit, pressing down until it goes out. This is easy. That's a small tab to open. That black cover here opens this way. Don't break it. People often break it. This, as I said, you just push and pull. Push the lockers and it opens up. And then you get your friend the screwdriver. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you try to do things with one hand. Oops, sorry. One more. Now, another way to know what is wrong with that board, well, last step, pulling it nicely out. There is a, to take that out, you pull upwards and slightly shake left and right. This will be attached, stuck to your board, so before lifting it, you will have to lift it a little bit like this, and maybe a little bit like that, to detach that piece of rubber here. from the board. Now, one way to test whether the board is bad or not is to get a multimeter, and you see the connector here. It says, now those are the pinouts of the board, and if you get a multimeter and you test between VS and ground, the VS is the rightmost pin, and the first two, as you can see, VS, VS1 and 2 are VS, and ground is plenty of ground, 4, 5, and 11. You can just use that metal here that we'll use for ground. So if you get a multimeter and you go on testing resistance and you find 0 between those, you know the board will be bad. Now, because we've serviced quite a few of those boards, we have a repair kit for them, and it lists the transistors that we have seen go bad. And now I'm not going to show how to repair the board. Instead, what I'm going to show you is, I will just leave that one here. What I'm going to show you is how we will get one from the repaired ones. Those are ones that we've done and tested. All of the boards that we have done and tested carry a label like this one. And we have them for sale, and I'm going to put it in like that. Oops, should have started with a connector at the bottom, but there's nobody to remind me. All right, pushing that in, pushing this in. I will say a few words about what was bad on the board and what needs to be done. As I said, we have a repair kit. We have boards available for sale at our website, at least of this time. Later on, we may not have them. The repair kit, there are several important things that I want to mention. Shop Jimmy has the usual repair kit that they have, which is based on educated guess as to what could possibly go wrong, and it's not really that much. It's all the power components that they have. But their repair kit does not have the octo buffer at the input. And you see that Kapton tape on top of it? This one? Have you ever wondered why manufacturers, in case you haven't seen it, many boards are done like that. Why do they put Kapton tape on top of this octo buffer? I don't know the answer. I have a theory about it though. And it stems from the fact that I have seen that octo buffer go bad, and you would replace all the power components on the board, or at least all the ones that have gone bad. Sometimes the driving circuits too, but on this board, at least so far, I have not seen, you know, there are boards like in Panasonic where the driver for the power switch, power transistor just doesn't go bad. Never, I have never seen them. One in a million maybe, you know, I just haven't made the mark there yet. So long story short, I have seen quite a few Samsung, and not only Samsung. I have seen LG, Samsung, Panasonic. No, Panasonic maybe I don't remember, but LG and Samsung, because we do a lot of those, I have seen quite a few times where we'll replace everything that went bad on the board, we'll test it carefully, we'll stick it in, and it would fail again. And the reason is that small octo buffer, you can't test, you can't tell that it's bad. It's bad enough that it messes up, probably delays switching and sending the signals that drive the power switches, and it's quite enough for them to create a short circuit, opening two circuits at the same time that are not supposed to be open at the same time. The VS and the minus VSC both going at the same time to the plasma is something that, you know, if they happen at the same time, it's a recipe for short. And that's why it is in our kit, and that is why I do recommend you using it. Okay, nothing happened with our board. I wonder why. Let's test again. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. And this is fine and this is fine. Well, maybe I did not do something right, but the TV stayed on. So another try. Let's see if we have some source. Oh, there it is. Okay, we have image, it's working fine. And what I was expecting to see was just a video, which of course would not have happened if I don't have anything connected. So I got my media player and getting HDMI. Now where's the power? Power. There's me, the 5-volt USB power. And goes to here. Alright. So that is connected as well. Let's see if it's the proper input. I guess it will be easier rather than switching inputs is to move the connector to the other HDMI input. And there you go. So everything was connected properly. And it is a working TV now. I really quickly went through this whole disconnection thing. If the TV would continue to shut off when we disconnect the X mainboard, the next step would have been to disconnect that cable, and by doing that we would have disconnected of course both those two, but that's what I would have done just because it's easiest. And if the TV would come on, then the problem would be here on the Y mainboard. Not 100%. I can think of an exceptions because they all work together, and especially not necessarily for other brands and other generations of TVs where feedback may go differently. But the next logical step, and you may watch this video and you may disconnect that and your TV may keep cycling or turning off. Next step is here, and if this is bad, then take that board out. It will also have that same connector with a VS and ground, and just test those for shorts, and if they're bad, well, search for replacement Y mainboard or a repair kit for it. Hopefully this helped. I am aware of the fact that my voice doesn't sound so well to all of us. I'm also told that this recorder does not get anything on the left or one of the two channels. I will see to correct that, but this phone has been through so much, and twice opened, and probably that's the very least that could have happened to it. I got a new one, but I tend to stick to things that I have for as long as I can. I guess that's why I'm in the repair business. Anyhow, I wish you luck in your repairs. That was probably the longest video that I've ever made. Best of luck in your repairs from me, Bobby, and Copal TV Repair. Bye now.